you can always count on the sun. You can chase it, bask in it, and be certain it'll be back again tomorrow. Wouldn't it be nice to drive a car you can feel just as sure of? Trade up to a Kia, ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power and backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Right now, get 0% APR for 66 months, plus $1,500 trade assist cash on a new 2021 Sportage.
Debut of the WNBA. It's a marquee matchup between Leslie and Lobo as the two square off here this afternoon in the debut game.
Welcome to ESPN's coverage of the WNBA, presented by Google. Coming to you this afternoon from Los Angeles on the eve of the 25th anniversary of the first game ever played in the WNBA. It was these two franchises who met up the road at the Old Forum, getting ready to play each other again. Pam Ward along with the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo and Holly Rowe, and it was, tomorrow will be the anniversary. Played at that Forum, over 14,000 people, notable players including our own Rebecca Lobo. And Rebecca, some talent in this game right now.
Yeah, one of the notable players we get to watch today is Betnijah Laney. She had a breakout season a year ago, the most improved player this year, leading the Liberty in scoring. She has been terrific. We'll be shocked if she does not make her first All-Star game appearance this season.
At 5th in the league in scoring, a spectacular first season in New York. As we take a look at the starting lineups, Sabrina Ionescu is available. Ionescu will be coming off the bench, playing maybe about 20 minutes. Michaela Onyenwere certainly is one of the front runners for Rookie of the Year, and for the Sparks, Wheeler, Tolliver, Holmes, Coffey, and Zowie B, who has been a very important component, playing against her old team this afternoon. Sabrina Ionescu, who did not play a couple of games, left ankle tendonitis. We spoke with head coach Walt Hopkins earlier today, played 15 minutes in their last game against Las Vegas, and about 20 minutes as they were trying to ease her back in to the starting lineup. And we are underway in Los Angeles, playing this game at the Convention Center. The Sparks won't be moving back into the Staples Center until after the Olympic break as the Clippers playoff quest continues. LA in white uniforms. And it's
Nice
Zowie B.
Yeah, nice job by LA right away establishing Amanda Zowie B inside. She has a nice size advantage, and she's got beautiful touch on that fadeaway.
Zowie B averaging 11 points per game. Big part of LA's identity has been their defense, especially when they can get out in transition. Holmes with the finish.
Yeah, they're really good going end to end, and Walt Hopkins was telling us his #1 priority, take care of the basketball. They've had issues at times with turnovers this season.
Los Angeles forces more turnovers per game than any other team in the league, over 21 per game. Laney getting inside to Shook, who has a height advantage over Coffey.
Good sign for Shook. She struggled in New York's last game against Las Vegas, did not score in that game. It's always a confidence builder when you can hit your first one.
Oliver misses her first shot. New York losing back-to-back games at Las Vegas, giving up over 100 points in both of them. Shot clock down to single digits. Tolliver all of a sudden found herself wide open. Off the mark, Zowie B hustles, but Whitcomb beats her to the ball. And then Shook able to get her first points after, as you said, getting shut out the last time. Has a couple of buckets.
You gotta love it when your big player is willing to run the floor and beat people down. And you gotta reward her when she does. That's what New York did.
Coffey has a shot rollout. Rebound taken down by Rebecca Allen in the starting lineup for the 4th time this season for New York. And then a whistle will send New York to the free throw line, and Allen.
And Amanda Zawi B picks up her first foul. She got into foul trouble, fouled out of their last game. And Derek Fisher said, you know, some of that is on our perimeter players. As you see Derek Fisher right there, they cannot get beat and put Amanda Zawi B in a position to pick up early fouls.
And he said that she is so much of what their identity has become. As you said, needing her energy, also a terrific defender and rebounder. Allen delivers at the line. Erica Wheeler, first year in Los Angeles, did not play last year, opted to sit out during the bubble season. Tolliver bottled up, and then the ball taken away. Allen able to get her hands in there. Here's Whitcomb. Haney had to gather herself. Now Wheeler trying to get things going in transition.
And that's where Erica Wheeler just really thrives. She's got tremendous quickness, can get by most defenders, gets into the teeth, gets into the paint, able to finish.
Wheeler, one of the best stories in the league, undrafted. Really coming on, the MVP of the All-Star game a couple of years ago. And has become one of the leaders on this LA team that looks a lot different than what everyone envisioned. Zawi B's turnaround gathered up by Allen.
Nice pace to this game, though, Pam. We got a lot of action going up and down, not too many whistles. This is what we like to see.
Whitcomb kicks it out. New York shoots more threes than any team in the league and hits more.
Walt Hopkins has to be happy with the way his team has been able to get dribble penetration, get into the paint, and then pass it back out. There have been possessions where they haven't been able to score off of it, but a perfect example right there of what he likes to see.
Whitcomb collects Tolliver's miss now. Just 0 for 3 from the floor so far this afternoon. And the Sparks force another turnover. LA has taken a timeout, down by 3. New York up by 3 early, and LA decides to take the timeout.
So Slim will be on Laney, Bria goes to Onion Wede. Z still on Shook. And then we got, you know, we could put E on. She's doing a pretty good job on Wickham so far. So then Cooper be on Allen.
Welcome to those of you who are just watching soccer over on ESPN. This is the Liberty and the Sparks playing in LA on the eve of the 25th anniversary of the very first game played in the WNBA between these two franchises. Pam Ward, along with Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. Holly Rowe was in the building on the sidelines. And that's Nneka Ogwumike wearing the Lisa Leslie jersey, who played in that game, as did you, Rebecca.
Not only is she wearing a Lisa Leslie jersey, that's a signed Lisa Leslie jersey. And doesn't it look like it's been worn and laundered a few times? Like, yes, Nneka, I see it.
Yep, in that game, it's going to be tomorrow, actually, 24 years ago, but the 25th anniversary. We've already talked about 2 of the 3 notable plays. Teresa Weatherspoon in that game had 10 assists, and it was played in the old form. Over 14,000 people, and it kicked off the WNBA. And I know, Rebecca, you were part of that excitement in getting the league kicked off, or tipped off.
You know what's funny is when I look at that graphic and see the 14,000 fans, when that game was about to tip, and there was so much energy in the building. People were so excited, the players in particular, about starting this brand new league. So when we got there, we're like, where are all the fans? We didn't know LA was a late arriving city. But by the end of that thing, it looked like this everywhere in the Forum. 14,000 strong, they were loud. Just what a great experience. And, you know, the tagline that season was, "We got next." And but I don't think any of us really understood that next would mean 25 or 24 more seasons. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, and going strong. And let's head down to the floor now in Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, in this building, it is absolutely insane right now. It's so fun. It's sold out. 400 fans in attendance. Lots of celebrities courtside. Vivica A. Fox. I see little girls in Sabrina Ionescu jerseys, Taya Cooper jerseys. It is the next generation coming out to support these ladies and see this anniversary game.
And the 400 fans are just the limitation because of the COVID protocols. Again, they're playing in the Los Angeles Convention Center, and it's a much smaller space, but as Holly mentioned, I was there a couple weeks ago, by the way, and it does, you can say only 400 people, but boy, it gets really loud in that building. Nigel Laney with the miss. Los Angeles started off hot at their first 2 shots, but just 1 score in their last 7 possessions, which prompted an early timeout by Derek Fisher. Wheeler finds a little bit of space down the lane and is able to lay it in.
And that's why she's so difficult to defend, because you have to respect her ability to hit threes and sometimes deep threes, but she's so quick off the bounce. Nice take there by Whitcomb.
Sammy Whitcomb in her first year after coming over from Seattle. Career high in points per game last year, and she's scoring at an even better pace so far this season in her new home for this New York Liberty team. Started out 5-1 on the season, just 1-5 since. Eric Bruton calls a foul.
And that's a second on Amanda Zowie B. And she is so important to LA offensively because they run so many actions with her setting on-ball screens on the perimeter because she's really good at the pick and pop. She's got range out to 3. And she's different from the other post players LA has. So she's out there now with 2 fouls. She's got to be really smart not to pick up the 3rd.
And fouled out in their last game against Phoenix. And head coach Derek Fisher said that we're just simply not as good when she's not on the court. And she gets herself into early foul trouble in this game. Wheeler, count it.
Good sign for LA. They want to try to get to the free throw line, and talked about it a couple times already. Erica Wheeler's first step, her quickness, then her ability to finish once she gets in the paint separates her.
Sammy Whitcomb called for the foul. You take a look at Wheeler's numbers, who did not play last year, out with the medical protocol. Completes the 3-point play, and Erica Wheeler really putting a charge into this team now. She has scored their last 7 points as LA's tied it. Whitcomb trying to get it back. Gray fumbled it.
Sammy Whitcomb has really had a terrific season, career high in a bunch of numbers this year, playing really well for the New York Liberty, has played well in the absence of Sabrina Ionescu, and just a different role for her. You know, she came in off the bench in her years out in Seattle and did a great job for that team, and shouldering more responsibility this season and handling it extremely well.
Has started every game for this Liberty team, and mentioned Rashonda Gray is in the game, number 1 in black, in for Zowie B, sitting down with 2 personals. And we'll see Sabrina Ionescu coming back from the ankle tendonitis. Whitcomb showing she's still got that range.
And the quick release. I mean, that's one of the things that makes her so dangerous. She quickly sets her feet and can get the shot off.
Almost 3/4 of the shots she takes from the floor this season are beyond the arc. New York, the best team in the league at shooting threes, but Wheeler continues her offensive show.
Showing what she can do. You know, we've seen her take it into the paint. Now you have to give her a little cushion, and she hits the pull-up on you.
Now Sykes, over to Wheeler. Whitcomb grabs her to make sure that she's okay. Holly Rowe is more on Erica Wheeler.
Well, guys, after the LA Sparks lost big time to Phoenix on Friday night, Erica Wheeler said in her post-game presser, "We didn't play with enough energy. We didn't have the effort. We can be better in that regard." And I think they're on like a 10-0 Erica Wheeler run right now. She's going to make sure that she's the one bringing that energy required today.
Yeah, Holly, she's been absolutely terrific. And she's attacked the basket. She's been playing with confidence. She's looking for her shots, but not at the expense of getting her teammates involved. Just been really, really solid to start this game.
And drew the foul. Whitcomb is now sitting down. Sammy has 2 personals for New York. Asmund Jones coming in.
Yeah, Pam, you're going to get that shot against New York, the way they defend the on-ball screen. They go behind. They don't mind you taking long twos. Well, you better watch it with Erica Wheeler because she's making everything.
And now an 11-point scoring streak for Wheeler, scoring LA's last 11. She has not missed a shot yet. And Sabrina Ionescu, there she is, number 20 in the black uniform, checking in. Got off to a terrific start this season and been hampered by the left ankle tendonitis.
Here's Rashonda Gray getting called for the illegal screen as she's trying to get her teammate open. Sabrina Ionescu
games. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, she's been struggling a little bit offensively. We were talking to Walt Hopkins about that and asking him where her confidence level is, and he said, you know, she gets her confidence from repetitions and from being on the court. And right now, she is limited in that regard because of the injury. You know, she can't practice as much as she would like. She can't play as much as she would like.
Sykes going right by Ionescu to put it in. And the drive and the drawn foul. And Michaela Onyenwere has just been absolutely terrific. The rookie 6th overall pick out of UCLA.
When we were getting ready for the draft, I was talking to Walt Hopkins about, you know, his team needs, and one of the players he really had his eye on was Onyenwere. And he said, you know, just not only her physical talents, but her energy that she brings on both ends of the floor. And we were asking him earlier today, like, did you expect this? He said, well, I certainly didn't expect her to score 29 in one of the games. And, you know, her efficiency from the three-point line and what she brings, she's been terrific. Right now, without question, the favorite for Rookie of the Year.
Some of the other notable rookies, Ari McDonald, who had that magical run with Arizona, now with Atlanta. Charlie Collier, the #1 overall pick, but the numbers for Onyenwere, who has started every game for this team. And as you mentioned, Walt Hopkins said he knew that she would bring energy and great defense, but the shooting ability coming along as quickly as it has sort of surprised him.
So she's really confident. I call her bubbly personality, and you just can tell he's really enjoying coaching her.
Up and up against Sykes. It's handled by Benijah Laney. Benijah has yet to score this afternoon for New York. Jones slicing into the lane, can't get it to go. Rebound, hunted down by Gray. And she was fouled by Inigwe.
Rashonda Gray has been playing with some nice energy out here today, and she's on a hardship contract right now with New York not having Kia Stokes. And she's coming off a terrific game, 17 points in their last game against Vegas.
A season high for her, 7 of 11 from the floor. As we remind you that fan voting is underway for the 2021 AT&T WNBA All-Star Game, and today your vote counts twice. So go to WNBA.com/vote or download the new WNBA app to vote daily until June 27th, another week to vote. And today, a bonus day. Your vote will count twice. Benijah Laney certainly should get a ton of votes this year. Ionescu able to come up with the basketball. Nice passing Whistle and the foul at the end of it.
Okay, Cooper just lost the basketball, but Sabrina Ionescu out, transition, making the extra pass. New York, nice job getting out. Had numbers, now at the free throw line.
Onyenwere, an 83% free throw shooter. First among all rookies in the league in points, field goal percentage, 3 percentage, and was the rookie of the month in May. Gives New York the 2-point lead as we are inside a minute to go in the first quarter. And another whistle on the drive, this time Cooper drawing contact.
Nice little pitch and catch, getting it back to Cooper. She's really good when she goes downhill and get inside.
Foul on Onyenwere as Cooper heads to the free throw line, her second year. Taken in the second round by Phoenix and cut and has found a home. Good contributor in Los Angeles. Her free throws end a 6-0 New York run and gets LA back to within 2.
LA has done a terrific job defensively on Laney. In on-ball screens, they sent extra attention to her. That time, they're trying to keep the ball out of her hands. New York likes to post her up because she's got good size and strength. You see Christy Tolliver early on right there, and then Sykes, a terrific job drawing that charge. LA has done a good job stifling her.
Yeah, they certainly have. Laney with no points has missed all 3 of her shots, just picked up that foul. Laney averaging over 20 points per game, which is 5th best in the league. LA had made 5 straight shots before that miss, but they get the offensive board. Cooper goes into the lane, kicks it out. Tolliver, tough shot as the shot clock goes off. True iron, but now New York can hold it for the last shot. Cooper fouled Ionescu in the backcourt.
And that's not a good foul right there because New York's in the bonus, so Sabrina gets to go to the free throw line. Wouldn't have been a terrible call or terrible foul if they had not been in the bonus.
Sabrina's season got off to such a terrific start. 26 points against Minnesota, had a buzzer beater to win a game. Coming back from her rookie season in which she got hurt in her 3rd game. Just had 1 point in 15 minutes. That was talk about a tough back-to-backer. New York, 2 straight games in Las Vegas, lost them both.
Man, Vegas looks really, really good. They're playing well, and especially with the way Kelsey Plum has played the last couple of games, if they can continue to get that offensive firepower from her, watch out.
Yeah, she has been terrific coming off the bench for them. Kelsey coming back after qualifying with the U.S. 3-on-3 basketball team that will go to Tokyo. Another chance for New York, but then the ball goes out of bounds.
Those are the kind of just silly turnovers you can't afford. Your teammate's open, just throw the ball in her hands.
So now 5.5 seconds. New York on a 7-1 run to take their biggest lead of the game, just 3 points. Wheeler, off-balance shot, in and out. And that closes the first quarter. New York up by 3.
ESPN's coverage of the WNBA is presented by Google, official WNBA changemaker and proud advocate of women in sports. And in part by State Farm. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And American Express. See all that you can expect when you're with Amex.
can always count on the sun. You can chase it, bask in it, and be certain it'll be back again tomorrow. Wouldn't it be nice to drive a car you can feel just as sure of? Trade up to a Kia, ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power and backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Right now, get 0% APR for 66 months plus $1,500 trade assist cash on a new 2021 Sportage.
Permanente here with Michaela Onyenwere. And Michaela, I see a lot of blue and blue in the stands today. What is this homecoming game like for you today?
Oh yeah, I mean it means everything. I mean, obviously I went to college here for 4 years with just such great people, such great support, and so I'm really happy and excited that I'm able to see my Bruin family. They've always supported me in everything, and so it's definitely really cool.
I see Coach Close, all your teammates. This is really cool. All right, you guys have gotten off to a good start here, but what has to improve right now?
I think just taking care of the ball. I think they're speeding us up a little bit. Obviously, this team forces a lot of turnovers, so that's definitely something we're going to take into the second quarter.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Holly.
And how do they start this quarter? With another turnover on an illegal screen by Gray. That's the biggest key for New York. Take care of the basketball.
Los Angeles, as Onyenwere said, really good at forcing turnovers, almost 22 per game. Already they have forced 8 after a quarter and 1 play. Another whistle. Eric Bruton, Cheryl Flores, Robert Hussey, our officials this afternoon, coming to you from Los Angeles on the eve of the 25th anniversary of the very first game in the WNBA.
I suppose it's only fitting, Pam, that there is some turnovers, because that first game was exciting, lots of nerves, but it was also kind of sloppy. We had plenty of turnovers in that inaugural game, too.
And
these are Leslie jerseys.
There we go. The Iguamake sisters, Chene on the left and Boyneka on the right, and both of them still out with injuries. And yes, they're both wearing Lisa Leslie jerseys in honor of that first game. Lisa was the marquee player for LA. Somebody named Rebecca Lobo, the player for New York in that game. Yeah, not the prettiest of games, but New York able to come away with the win. Almost 24 years ago tomorrow, so celebrating the 25th anniversary. Sykes turning it over that time. Good look at Nia Coffey, who's really having a nice season. She bounced around a little bit. 4 teams in 5 years. 5 if you want to say San Antonio and Las Vegas are different teams. But I don't. But she's really seemed to find a home so far for the Spark squad that has had to piece things together, especially with the Iguamakes out hurt.
Yeah, you got to make the most of the minutes that you get, and no matter how you get them. And she's done it by having career highs in a lot of different categories.
So the Iguamakes not playing yet. Holly Rowe has an update on them.
That's right. Both Nneka and Chene have been out with a knee injury, one right knee, one left knee. And talking with Derek Fisher today, he said they're both getting closer to return. He's pinpointing about 2 weeks from now. Nneka herself said that maybe about a week out, so we'll see when they come back, but they are getting closer to return, and that will be a huge piece for this LA Sparks team.
And Ionescu, listen to the crowd in LA. A lot of Ionescu fans out there, as Sabrina able to hit the three-pointer. Holly mentioned that she saw some kids out there wearing Sabrina jerseys.
Nice
able to get inside.
Yeah, and we talked earlier how different LA is when Zowie B is in there versus Anigwe. Anigwe is a back to the basket, get inside kind of post player. Zowie B more of facing the basket. Is that Rashonda Gray's 3rd offensive foul? I think it is. She is a big, physical, strong post player herself, and she's already gotten a couple setting illegal screens. And there's another one.
And make it a hat trick now for Gray, who sits down with the 3 personal fouls. Terrific player, played at Cal Berkeley. And as you mentioned earlier in the game, signed to a hardship contract. This is a team that's still missing Natasha Howard, who was out after her knee sprain that happened in late May. Leah Stokes not with the team, coming back after competing for Turkey in the Eurobaskets. They're hoping to have her next week. Coffey hit a shot.
It's good active hands, good defense by Los Angeles, and that's where they've been really good. It's on the defensive end of the floor. They're quick, they move well together, communicate well, as you see Bria Holmes talking to her teammates.
Rebecca Allen with the three-point shot. So defensive disruption, the bread and butter for LA. It's the three-pointers for New York on the offensive side. Ball stays with Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah, you see why Bria Holmes is a little bit frustrated. We're not at the point in the game where they can review that out of bounds, but clearly off a shook.
So Sykes with the inbound, 14 seconds put back onto the shot clock for the Sparks. Oliver has not hit a shot yet today. Gives it over to Coffey with that sweet lefty shot.
Nice job, dribble penetration, draw the defense, find your open teammate for the look.
Coffey hitting over 46% of her threes on the season. You see LA with 12 points off turnovers. That's the way they like to generate a lot of their offense. And now Allen frustrated as she's called for the foul.
LA really effective, creating turnovers and then going and attacking the other way. Bria Holmes has been playing really well recently for LA.
Timeout on the floor, New York by 1.
ESPN's coverage of the WNBA is presented by Google, official WNBA changemaker and proud advocate of women in sports.
You can always count on the sun. You can chase it, basket it, and be certain it'll be back again tomorrow. Wouldn't it be nice to drive a car you can feel just as sure of? Trade up to a Kia, ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power and backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Right now, get 0% APR for 66 months plus $1,500 trade assist cash on a new 2021 Sportage.
Rebecca Lobo with 16 points. It's only going to get better.
Oh, look at Rebecca Lobo. As we celebrate the 25th anniversary of the league, we welcome in Rebecca's former teammate, Kim Hampton. And Kim, you were part of that inaugural game 24 years ago tomorrow. What do you remember about that? That's such an historic game.
Well, I remember we were all so incredibly nervous because we wanted to play well. We knew the world was watching us, and we knew that we just had to make a great show.
Kim, one of my strongest memories was the film session before the game when Coach Nancy Darsh said I was going to be guarding Lisa Leslie, and that quickly changed. What did you tell Nancy about what the defensive assignment should be?
I told Nancy I need to guard Lisa Leslie. I said Rebecca needs to relax and think about offense, and I need to guard Lisa Leslie. And you know, Nancy, nope, you're giving up too many inches. And I'm like, Nancy, let me guard her, you know. And so she ended up doing it. She said, that's your assignment from now on. Rest in peace, man. She rest in peace.
Yeah, and how did that go, Kim, when you were guarding Lisa?
I went pretty well.
Yeah,
it went pretty. Actually, yeah. I don't think she scored until I left the game. But I don't know. We would have to go back and watch the film on that one. But it went well. That was something that we as a team did. We took pride in our defense, and with Teresa Weatherspoon, heading things up, and Vicki Johnson coming out of Louisiana Tech. We had to play some defense.
Yeah, I know you were one of the defensive stoppers. Rebecca was telling that to us off air. You're also going to join our team here at halftime, so we look forward to hearing more from you, Kim. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't know why. I don't know. Certainly, I would not volunteer to guard Lisa Leslie. Were you relieved when Kim said, "Hey, I got this"?
Kim was a veteran. I was still a young buck, so I didn't mind at all. And from that point forward, anytime we went and played a team with a strong post player, that was Kim's assignment. She took it, and I wasn't upset about it.
Yes. So another outside shot.
Rebecca Allen is having herself a half. 4 of 6, 4 of 5 from the three-point line, 14 points. New York just has to figure out a way to take care of the basketball.
Allen giving them a nice punch in the arm, starting for this team. Nia Coffey also having a nice offensive game for the other guys for LA.
Yeah, Erica Wheeler leading the charge for LA, but Coffey's been really good for them too.
She's hit 2 of her 3 threes on the afternoon as the ball comes right back to LA. Asmund Jones with the universal sign for "What did I do?" called for traveling that time.
Yeah, she did travel. I mean, turnovers have been an issue for New York all season long. They're 11th in the WNBA, just over 16 turnovers a game, but not quite like this. They got 13 already here in the first half. LA scored 15 points off of those 13 turnovers. New York's shooting pretty well from the floor, but they just can't get enough shots up with all these giveaways.
And New York at 44%, LA shooting a blistering 57%. LA is a team that generates so much from their turnovers. Coffey couldn't hold it, but it was kicked out of bounds by Shook. Nia Coffey in her 5th year out of Northwestern. Brother Amir playing for the Clippers, who we're rolling along now. Right, playing the first game of the Western Finals today. Nice pass. And then the foul. Whitcomb goes down rather hard.
Well, Hopkins told us before the game that one of the things he told his team is they got to work on their ball fakes when they get the ball into the paint, because LA likes to block shots. And Sammy Whitcomb knew that she had somebody right on her heels and did a good job getting them off her feet and then getting to the free throw line.
Wheeler sends Whitcomb to the line. As we take a look at our WNBA TV calendar, coming up on Thursday on CBS Sports Network, it's Dallas and Indiana. Then Saturday, Dallas will be hosting Washington at 1 Eastern time on CBS. And a week from today, this isn't a bad matchup, Rebecca Lobo. Seattle and Las Vegas? Come on.
Yeah, they had the 2 games to start their seasons, and that middle game, man, Tina Charles is having herself a year.
Well,
coming off another 30-point performance.
Yeah, with Elena Deladon still not back, coming back from the back surgery. Zowie B, limited because of some foul trouble, comes back in and hits the jumper. Vegas and Seattle playing next Sunday at 4 Eastern time on ESPN. 2 best teams in the league right now, you think?
Vegas and Seattle?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Do it in very different ways, but they've got superstars. They know their system. They play to it. They've got confidence in one another.
Connecticut so good over in the Eastern Conference, waiting for Jonquel Jones to get back after some overseas commitments. Tolliver still has not been able to get one down. New York never shy about shooting a 3, but Coffey able to corral the miss. Now Wheeler with a little dribble penetration, fade away. Shook collects and gives it to Sabrina. Allen to Shook, who tried to get the pass over to Laney, picked off.
Shook should have shot that. It was Wheeler, much smaller Wheeler, who was the only defender on her.
Yeah, but Nigel Laney, by the way, still has not scored, has taken 3 shots and missed them all. Now, she finally gets on the score sheet.
That can get a player going out in transition, but so much of the reason Laney has had a limited number of shots is because of LA's defense on her.
Zowie B posting up. Now Whitcomb comes away with the basketball. Inside 3 minutes to go in the first half. Whitcomb able to keep herself in bounds. Shot clock at 5, and Ionescu was able to draw the foul with just 5 seconds left on the shot clock. We'll take a quick timeout and be back in Los Angeles.
You can always count on the sun. You can chase it, bask in it, and be certain it'll be back again tomorrow. Wouldn't it be nice to drive a car you can feel just as sure of? Trade up to a Kia, ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power and backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Right now, get 0% APR for 66 months, plus $1,500 trade assist cash on a new 2021 Sportage.
Where aerial coverage is brought to you by Goodyear. Traffic always an issue in LA, but let's take a look at no issue for Erica Wheeler. Enter the zone and look at who's hot. Brought to you by DoorDash.
Yeah, Erica Wheeler has been really, really good for Los Angeles so far today. 13 points. She's been able to get by her primary defender, then the secondary as well. She's hit pull-up shots, go behind the screen if you must. She can hit the long range too as well. 4 assists, only 1 turnover. She has been stellar so far.
Sabrina Ionescu heading to the free throw line for New York. Sabrina coming off the bench again this afternoon on a minutes limit. Coach Hopkins wants to keep her around 20 minutes as she works her way back. And remember, she was fouled while shooting a 3 right before we went to break. She gets them all. York extending the lead out to 6. Laney hits the deck, and a foul has been called. It might be against Zowie B. If so, it's her 3rd, and it is.
Amanda Zowie B trying to set the second of a stagger. Oh, I can see why she's frustrated. Laney just kind of tripped over Zowie B's foot. Yeah, it's just completely different spacing on the offensive end of the floor when Zowie B's not in. She brings the defense out to her in ways that the other post players can't.
She brings the ball and she goes down. You're coming from here, right? So like
Head coach Derek Fisher having a chat with Zowie B, who got into foul trouble early in their last game, a loss to Phoenix. Fouled out of that game, had 5 points and 6 rebounds. Now 3 fouls in this one, sitting on 4 points. Laney kicking it out. Allen able to rebound her miss. Rebecca already with 4 threes, which ties a season high, and then distance.
Off of that offensive rebound, Pam, I think that's the first time Laney's had a smaller defender on her, and she took advantage of Tolliver by hitting the long 3 over her.
7-0 New York run gives them their biggest lead of the afternoon. It's 8 points. Minute and a half left to go. Here comes Whitcomb.
How about the hustle from Sabrina Ionescu? That's the second time we've seen her rebound her own miss. Not enough guards follow their shot like that.
Seems like the ankle is feeling better for Ionescu, who has been hustling after things. Tolliver having a frustrating shooting afternoon so far. And Egway couldn't get it to fall. Here comes New York. State Farm halftime report is coming your way. Tim Hampton and Tamika Dixon, 2 players who participated in that first WNBA game, as we're on the eve of the 25th anniversary of that. And LaChina Robinson will be speaking with both Kim and Tamika. Pam Ward and Holly Rowe, and Rebecca Lobo, who was prominent in that game, had 16 points for the Liberty in that win in the very first game of the WNBA.
Man, Tamika Dixon was a heck of a player. Talk about somebody who could rise up and shoot over most defenders. You could just give her the ball, clear out, give her some space. She could get you a bucket.
And we have Coach Walt Hopkins wired for sound with New York. Let's check in.
Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. Job, Mick! Great job, Mick! You guys are doing a great job with that, so keep it up, okay? All right, y'all. Let's go.
Come on.
Liberty, 1, 2, 3.
Liberty. Let's stay within our...
Walt Hopkins in his second year in charge of New York. We've been talking a lot about Sabrina Ionescu coming back from injury. For more on that, let's go down to Holly.
Well, guys, you might remember that Sabrina injured her ankle pretty seriously last year, 3 games into the WNBA season, ended up having ankle surgery. And I sat and watched her pregame with a really fascinating workout with one of the Liberty staff, doing everything with her toes, balance, using a ball, working on her foot. She is doing a lot to get that ankle back and ready to go. She was playing a lot of minutes a game, over 30 minutes a game. She sat out with some ankle tendonitis, but you can see she's really trying to be careful about how she comes back. But it's been very impressive to see her hustle so far in this game coming off the bench.
Walt Hopkins said one of the things they're concerned about is not even the ankle, but her getting compensatory injuries as a result of compensating for that ankle. So just being really smart with her to get her back healthy, understanding the stretch run of the season will be key.
Yeah, doing things short-term to give her long-term comfort and durability. Of course, the Olympic break will be coming up from mid-July to mid-August. Before that, the WNBA All-Star Game, which was announced a few days ago. WNBA All-Stars taking on the U.S. team, and Kylie Shook with the offensive putback. New York has been feasting on second-chance points.
Getting to the offensive glass has really helped minimize the damage from all their turnovers.
Outscoring LA 14-0 in second chance points, and New York will take a 44-36 lead into the locker rooms as we get set for the State Farm halftime report. The WNBA presented by Google. Second half about to get underway as we look at today's Power Beats moment presented by Beats.
Lots of moments, and they're all from the three-point line for the New York Liberty. They've done a really good job getting the ball inside and then finding teammates open on the perimeter. In particular, Rebecca Allen, 4 for 8 from 3. Sabrina got in on the action, as did Sammy Whitcomb. But New York, that's the reason they have this lead. Getting to the offensive glass, as you see the rebounds there, and also their ability to drain from deep.
And New York able to take this lead at the half, even though Benijah Laney, their leading scorer, only has 4 points. But New York has been doing a really good on the really good job, in the offensive glass, which usually is not one of their fortes.
New York is last in the WNBA in offensive rebound rate. They do not get to the offensive glass. Typically, they only average 6 offensive boards a game. 50% of their misses today so far, they've gotten to the offensive glass.
That is Rebecca Lobo, the Hall of Famer. Pam Ward along with you. Holly Rowe is our sideline reporter on this game. Los Angeles hosting New York. Same matchup that tipped off this league 24 years ago tomorrow, June 21st, 1997. All sorts of activities in Los Angeles to celebrate that. Good ball movement. Allen, the three-point shooter, passes it up, gets it outside. Shook coming up with another offensive board. And then Allen hits another 3.
Not only the offensive board, but New York has been able, when they've gotten the offense to the offensive glass, to then pass back out for those open threes.
Rebecca Allen, that's a new season high, 5 threes for the Australian, who is starting in place of Sabrina Ionescu, who did play in the first half. Scored 7 points off the bench on about a 20-minute limit as she comes back from the left knee tendonitis. Whitcomb from the outside. Miss taken down by Tolliver. New York finished the first half on a 9-2 run. There was Carly Samuelson, number 44 in white. Not played all in the first half, and there's a travel call by Cheryl Flores. Gets the ball back to New York. LA has made only one shot now in its last 14 trips down the floor as they have fallen behind by 11.
That might be one of the reasons why you see Samuelson out on the floor. She's a good offensive player, can spread out the defense. She's able to hit three-point shots.
Playing just her fourth game of the year. Laney able to get inside.
I love that isolation, and New York likes to run that smaller guard on Laney. As you see, Tolliver finally able to find the bottom of the bucket. But they will get Laney the ball on the left block when she has a smaller defender on her.
Benijah Laney averaging almost 21 points per game, held to just 4 in the first half, and here she goes.
Nice footwork inside from Laney.
Laney, one of the terrific stories in this league, and their 6th year out of Rutgers. Didn't play in this league at all in 2017. Very different story now, Holly Rowe.
Well, that's right. You think about the remarkable journey she's been on. Last year, before the WNBA bubble, she was all packed and ready to go to play for the Indiana Fever, and she got waived. We'll tell you more when we come back after this on the Benijah Laney, who's tearing it up for the New York Liberty right now. They lead the LA Sparks here in LA.
ESPN's coverage of the WNBA, presented by Google, is brought to you by Gatorade Zero, all the electrolytes, zero sugar, and AT&T 5G, fast, reliable, and secure.
You can always count on the sun. You can chase it, bask in it, and be certain it'll be back again tomorrow. Wouldn't it be nice to drive a car you can feel just as sure of? Trade up to a Kia, ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power and backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Right now, get 0% APR for 66 months plus $1,500 trade assist cash on a new 2021 Sportage.
Welcome back. The New York Liberty lead the LA Sparks 53-39. And as we said, Benijah Laney, a remarkable story in the WNBA, waived just before last season started, but got picked up late after a couple of Atlanta Dream players decided to opt out of the season. She made the most of that opportunity, being named the most improved player in the league with 17 points a game. But she's not through. She's come back even better and stronger this year, averaging over 20 points per game. I really think she could go from most improved to an MVP kind of conversation. Benijah Laney, just a remarkable story that she is writing for herself.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal year so far for Laney. You know, be shocked if she's not an all-star this year with the way that she has been playing, and you know, the perseverance that she has shown and the improvement in her game, truly remarkable.
Laney has their last 6 points. Tolliver has a couple of threes here in the third quarter after a rocky shooting first half. And yeah, Benijah Laney, just to repeat that, was cut by Indiana. The Fever cut her last June. Nikki Collin brought her in, and Nikki Collin told us last year that she said to her, shoot the ball. I think you're a better offensive player. Certainly she was not known for her offense as she bounced around the league in her first few seasons. And she has just been spectacular ever since.
And a multifaceted game as well. You just saw, you know, made a great decision when she got the ball on the left block. Perfect pass out. Her teammate wasn't able to hit it, but she made the right call.
We're getting word from Los Angeles that Bria Holmes, who played briefly in the first half, has a hurt foot and will not return. Holmes, one of the starters for this team, had 3 points in 13 minutes in the first half. And that's why Samuelson started for Holmes in this third quarter.
Man, the injury bug has been unkind to the LA Sparks so far this season. We were talking to Derek Fisher about that before the game, and he said, you know, we knew it was going to be a transitional year, even if we were healthy. But now with the injuries they're dealing with, he said, you know, it requires patience. We have to focus on all the positive things and the ways we can learn from this.
And we talked about the injuries, Rebecca. Two notable ones right here. Both Agumake still nursing hurt knees. Angel McCautry tearing her ACL, so she's out for the year. Diana Taurasi with the sternum. Elena Deladon hasn't played at all this season, coming back from back surgery.
Yeah, it's one of the things that you hate to see in LA. Hopeful in the next few weeks that they can get either Chene or Nneka back. What a difference those two make when they're on the floor.
And not just the production on the stat sheet, but their leadership. Anigwe unable to get it home. And boy, that graphic we just showed you with 5 great players, that would be one heck of a team that if you could put them all out there together. But they are all hurt, not available to play in the league right now. All tipped away by Sykes, who was always pesty on defense and rewarded on the other end. Timeout, LA, down 10.
You can always count on the sun. You can chase it, bask in it, and be certain it'll be back again tomorrow. Wouldn't it be nice to drive a car you can feel just as sure of? Trade up to a Kia, ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power and backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Right now, get 0% APR for 66 months plus $1,500 trade assist cash on a new 2021 Sportage.
Where the Sparks are having trouble finding their offense, trailing New York by 10. First time these two teams have met this year. Pam Ward along with Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo and Holly Rowe. Nyjah Laney coming out of the gates very quickly here in the third quarter after only being held to 4 points in the first half. LA, a team that is known for scoring off turnovers. Half of their points now have come off of New York's now 19 turnovers. And here's another one. That was the major concern for Walt Hopkins, the head coach of New York, to hang on to the ball as Samuelson misses. They have not done that very well, but still hanging on to this double-digit lead. Shot clock getting skinny now for Taya Cooper. Contact, and they're going to call a blocking foul on Jones. Or WNBA action coming your way a week from today, and what a beauty of a game this one is. Right here on ESPN at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. A couple of teams on 5-game winning streaks. Seattle at Las Vegas. 2 red-hot teams, 2 best teams in the league right now going head-to-head.
I'll always take a little Brianna Stewart going head-to-head with A'ja Wilson.
Yeah, not bad. A little bit of talent there. 4 straight New York turnovers now. LA not able to take too much of an advantage, as you see, trailing by 10 points. Both teams shooting 44% from the floor, and they are forcing 19 per game. They've been able to get 12 so far. Tolliver backs up to take that 3, and that's more like the Christy Tolliver we're used to seeing. Into double digits with a couple of 3s here in this quarter. LA on a 7-0 run to get it down to a 7-point advantage. Jones too hard off glass. Taya Cooper found a lot of real estate and was able to put it home.
This is where LA turns up the pressure, Pam, defensively, forcing you into turnovers, getting out into transition. That's why it's so important for New York to take care of the basketball.
Whitcomb ends the 9-0 LA run as she rolls in the 3. But Tolliver responds and then turns around, I think said something to the New York bench.
It's like in the jewelry box when you open it up and you've got something that spins, the pirouette. That's the corner 3 in front of the opponent team's bench. You just turn, look, you don't have to say a word and run back the other way.
Laney got going early for New York in this quarter. Now it's Tolliver from the outside for LA. Whitcomb hit a 3 and now drives in for a 2. All on the ground again. Rescued by Cooper, who found a mid-range shot. Inegwe crashes to the floor. No foul call. Whistle LA. You might have heard Brittany Sykes calling for the travel instead of foul has been called on Samuelson.
Ray got the ball inside. And LA did a good job, Pam, of, really collapsing on her. She had 3 defenders on her. It's almost good for them they got the foul called, because if she was able to pass out, it would have been an open 3 for New York.
Erica Wheeler checking in for Inegwe. Naja Laney, after a short break, comes back in for Rashonda Gray. And another New York turnover.
That one was forced, though. That was really good defense, initially by Sykes on Laney, and then Samuelson jumping out as well. LA's paid her a lot of attention today. Here, coming off the on-ball, Carly Samuelson does a really good job of jumping out, getting the space. She's out of bounds when she lands, but nice defensive effort.
But New York does hang on to the basketball as we see the shot clock winding down. Tolliver saves it in. New York, good job of getting back to stop the transition game for LA. Tolliver feeling it, in and out. I think there would have been a big-time pirouette if that one went in.
Yeah, no, no music box pirouette there, Pam.
No. That was from well beyond the arc. That bounces off of Sykes. And then she runs the floor. Brittany Sykes showing her athleticism and speed after forcing the turnover.
She is fluid and she gets out in transition. Sometimes she is the one who initiates by getting the steal herself, but she will run the floor, and when she does, it is hard to catch her. And then elevation and finish as well. She's been a defensive spark for LA, but very capable on the offensive end.
Erica Wheeler pats Derek Fisher on the head after she got some words from Coach Fisher. Sykes cannot complete the three-point play. Last foul, by the way, on Jasmine Jones for New York.
We heard the last thing he said to her was, "We need you," being encouraging with her. Sykes is fired up. She's made a real impact defensively here for LA. Fighting over, doing a really good job trying to fight over the screen. It's called an offensive foul. Your feet have to be as wide as your shoulders, and Laney's feet were much wider than that. So when Sykes trips over him, it's a foul on Laney.
And that is 4 fouls now on Naja Laney. 3 of those 4 fouls, offensive fouls. LA making a game out of this.
Riding a bike should be a really fun experience. We make low-maintenance bicycles for everyday riders. We were coming off a great year, and when the pandemic hit, it just stopped. We really had to think creatively. Teams allowed us to do what we call virtual visits.
Hey, is that TK?
Hi, how are you?
We're able to see 2- or 3-fold the amount of customers from all over the world. Without Teams, there's no way this would have been possible. And I really think it's going to set a standard for retail moving forward.
Presented by Google. For today's search, we want to know who scored the first points in WNBA history. It was June 21st, 1997. Stay tuned for the answer. Rebecca Lobo knows the answer because she was in the building in the game.
I know the answer, but if you don't know the answer, you know where to go, Pam.
The only one
if you're not in my living room with me right now, you just go to the Google.
Yes.
Go to the Google.
Go to the Google for everything. Goodyear with our aerial coverage today as you're looking at downtown Los Angeles. Betnijah Laney now with 4 personal fouls. You get 6 in the WNBA. 3 of those 4 fouls have been on the offensive side, including the last one she just picked up. Less than a minute to go in the third quarter. Allen misses. Samuelson coming up with the rebound. Carly getting some good minutes here in the third quarter. 17-5 LA run. They were down by as many as 14. Coffee can't hit back-to-back three-pointers. Asmund Jones lost the ball. A new season high in turnovers for New York this afternoon. Shot clock is off.
Spread it out. Let Erica Wheeler go to work.
Good call, Coach Lobo. Wheeler delivers.
Sometimes basketball is a simple game.
And look at this. We are tied in LA. Great comeback by the Sparks, in part because Tolliver got hot.
Kristi Tolliver comes alive, shoots the 3. Open that music box. Turn.
You can always count on the sun. You can chase it, bask in it, and be certain it'll be back again tomorrow. Wouldn't it be nice to drive a car you can feel just as sure of? Trade up to a Kia, ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power and backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Right now, get 0% APR for 66 months plus $1,500 trade assist cash on a new 2021 Sportage.
By Kaiser Permanente. Erica Wheeler, you said after your loss to Phoenix that you had to have more energy and effort in this game. How are you bringing that personally? Because you had 13 in the first quarter and you've been on fire.
Man, just the mindset. You know, Fish, we had a meeting yesterday and it was just really locking in and being focused and bringing energy. I think that's our biggest thing because we have the talent, we have everything to do it. Just got to put energy behind it.
That last basket, you tied the game. What were you and Coach Fisher talking about? He said he needs you, but then you touch his head. What was that interchange?
That's our little connection. He knows, when I have my moments, he got to pick me up, and that's what he did. And I tapped in, and I was ready.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Holly.
Yeah, what a terrific performance so far by Wheeler. And one of the other things that Derek Fisher was telling us is, asking Kristi Tolliver to be more of a vocal leader, that she can be a quiet leader. Well, she's letting her game speak for itself so far here in the second half. She's really come alive.
Yeah, 21-5 run now after Tolliver's latest shot. Kristi in the first half missed 6 of her 7 shots, didn't make a single 3, as LA has fought back from 14 points down to take a 2-point lead over New York as we begin the fourth quarter. Wheeler fired up after talking to Holly. Draws the foul.
I loved everything about that Holly Rowe interview with Erica. First, she's tired. You can hear her breathing heavy. You can see her sitting on the scores table, catching her breath. She is certainly playing with a ton of energy and effort out there.
Wheeler at the free throw line. We remind you that fan voting is underway for the 2021 AT&T WNBA All-Star Game in Vegas, and today your vote counts twice. So go to WNBA.com/vote or download the new WNBA app. Vote daily until June the 27th.
New WNBA app is very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
Wheeler connecting on the free throw. It's now a 22-5 Sparks run. Doing this without both the Boumakeys, who are still out nursing their respective knee injuries, but third quarter very productive for LA. Their defense continues to just swarm.
Defense has been terrific. They've been able to turn turnovers into offense the other way. They've come alive a little bit from the three-point line. Erica Wheeler driving on the New York Liberty defense. Wow, how the momentum has shifted.
Gosh, 26 turnovers for New York. That is a new season high. LA scoring 31 points off Liberty turnovers. Tolliver. Nice pass. Sykes able to gather. Allen able to reject the shot. Underneath Laney. Quick whistle. Samuelson called for the foul, her second.
Last few minutes, New York offensively, even when they're not turning the ball over, they look sped up. And that's when LA is at their best, is when they can make you play a little bit faster than you want to play, but the way they're applying their defensive pressure.
And LA doing this without Amanda Zawi-B, second game in a row where she has gotten herself into foul trouble, averaging double figures at 11 points per game, and she's only got 4 points in 11 minutes, and LA able to come back from 14 down to take the lead. Rhea Holmes, another starter, out since the first half, will not come back with a foot injury.
And LA has gone small with their lineup, and it has really been impactful defensively. Smaller, but quicker, more swarming. But wow, did New York need that basket?
Big time. That's Shook with the three to tie it up. Laney grabs it and goes. But then Wheeler just picks her pocket.
Just the look on Erica Wheeler's face as she's running back down says it all.
Shook somehow alone in the lane for the bucket. Timeout. LA up 2. Our aerial coverage today is brought to you by Goodyear. Celebrating the drive that moves you forward. Goodyear, more driven.
You can always count on the sun. You can chase it, bask in it, and be certain it'll be back again tomorrow. Wouldn't it be nice to drive a car you can feel just as sure of? Trade up to a Kia, ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power and backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Right now, get 0% APR for 66 months plus $1,500 trade assist cash on a new 2021 Sportage.
Sports, the WNBA. And the first basket in WNBA history is scored by Penny Toller.
And that's Hannah Storm answering our Did You Know, presented by Google, which was who scored the first bucket in the history of the league, and it was Penny Toller. It'll be 24 years ago tomorrow, June 21st, 25th anniversary of the league, in a game that New York won. That's why we have this game for you today. The league with New York at Los Angeles, just like that game almost 24 years ago today. Rebecca Lobo played in that game, and New York came away with the victory. Both teams shooting the ball better in this game than in that first game almost 24 years ago to the day. But boy, Los Angeles forcing another turnover.
Would that be considered another steal for Sykes? Because she was the one who tapped the ball away.
And Brittany Sykes with the jumper. 7 steals for Sykes, a new career high. Yes, that was indeed another one for her. And then she came down and buried the bucket to give LA the lead. New York has led this game by as many as 14 points, but the Sparks turning up the defense here in the second half. Christy Tolliver getting hot from the outside. Entirely different story. Coffee with the finish.
Beautiful, simple horn set, but Wheeler is able to get past the first line of defense and then an easy pass.
Sabrina Ionescu with the miss, and that easy pass from Wheeler is her 10th assist to the game. So how about back-to-back doubles for Wheeler, both of them with points and assists. 18 points and 10 assists now. That's exactly her line in their last game against Phoenix.
Here, horn set gets past her defender. Shook comes over. Coffee does a great job of just diving to the basket. Pretty basketball.
Yep, back-to-back double-doubles for Wheeler. What a difference the second half for Los Angeles. They're down 8 at the break, down by as many as 14. Now with the lead, Wheeler comes in, a lot of contact, nothing called as she took the ball away.
Great help side defense for Wheeler to get there.
Coffee passed up the three and called for the charge. Drawn nicely by Whitcomb. Second foul on Coffee. Rebecca Allen with the pass down low. Coffee stuffing Gray. Wheeler guarded by Ionescu. Everything's cleared out there on the right side. And Sabrina took it away from her. And a touch foul by Tolliver out on the perimeter.
Yeah, that's a smart move and a veteran play by Christy Tolliver. Don't let New York get out in transition, get easy looks, get your defense set.
More WNBA action coming your way. On Thursday, the Wings and the Fever. 7 Eastern time on CBS Sportsnet. Then Saturday, Washington at Dallas on CBS. And a week from today, the marquee matchup as Stewie and the Storm go in to take on Asia and the Aces, 4 Eastern time on ESPN. For more information, WNBA.com, or the app has all you need to know as we take you through this WNBA season. Oliver splits the defense, puts up the floater, a little bit too strong, kept alive, and a second chance for the Sparks. Coffee. Nothing but black jerseys underneath to get the rebound. Ionescu able to hit it. Wheeler was looking for the offensive foul and didn't get it.
It's almost a zone look that you're seeing from LA on the defensive end of the floor, helping in, and they use that same defensive look against Phoenix. Phoenix had success getting to the middle of the floor, driving down the lane. New York has not been able to do that in this game.
Ionescu with 9 points. That was her first bucket of the second half. Now Sabrina with the rebound. Her 6th of the game. Whitcomb just calmly shot the 3 from the corner. And New York bounces that.
Everything she does is done calmly, Pam.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Especially when it involves shooting the ball.
Yeah, that's the easiest thing in the world for Sammy. One of the three-point specialists on the best three-point shooting team in the league. New York up 1. Wheeler answers. Wheeler now with 20. Three minutes left to go in a 1-point ball game. Allen can't get it. Whitcomb, though, gives him a second chance. Whitcomb challenging Samuelson and draws the foul.
Erica Wheeler has been a stud so far this game. She'll make you move, she'll make you dance, she'll make you pay.
ESPN's coverage of the WNBA is presented by Google, official WNBA changemaker and proud advocate of women in sports.
You can always count on the sun. You can chase it, bask in it, and be certain it'll be back again tomorrow. Wouldn't it be nice to drive a car you can feel just as sure of? Trade up to a Kia, ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power and backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Right now, get 0% APR for 66 months plus $1,500 trade assist cash on a new 2021 Sportage.
Welcome back to ESPN's coverage of the WNBA, presented by Google in Los Angeles. A one-point game between the Sparks and the Liberty, again on the eve of the 25th anniversary, the first game ever played in this league between these two teams. We got ourselves a ball game, Rebecca Lobo. What do you think we're going to see in the last 3 minutes?
Well, I don't know what we're going to see, but I think what we absolutely need to see, or what New York Liberty needs to see, is taking care of the basketball. That has been their issue all game long, is turning it over. And for LA, they want to continue to make sure that Erica Wheeler and Christy Tolliver get touches, because both of those players have been terrific here, in particular in the second half.
29 turnovers for New York. That is a new season high for them. Whitcomb has just tied it at the line. And now our 7th lead change of this game. LA at one point was down 14. Look at the second chance points. LA still nothing. New York with 19, but not so much here in the second half. Coffey able to get the shot off and roll it in.
Really nice screen by Wheeler, so Coffey could rub off of it in like a flex action to get the open look.
Another lead change. LA bounces back on top. Both teams sputtering a little bit as of late. Trying to get back in the win column. Laney, big shot.
Couple dribbles by Sabrina Ionescu to get extra help from the defender, get Laney just a little bit more time to get the shot off.
Sykes can't get it to go, could not corral the rebound. Now they're going to say it is off of Gray, so LA holds on to it.
Under 2 minutes, so they will be able to replay this, but it looked to me like it was off Sykes' hand, Pam. Yeah, it looks like it's off LA.
We have 2 plays that's under review. The first review is Laney's 2 to 3, and we're going to also review the out of bounds. Right now, it will be White's ball, distraction.
That is Eric Bruton, who is putting on the headphones. Robert Hussey right behind him. Cheryl Flores completing the officiating crew.
Of course, the call on the court is important because it has to be clear and conclusive for them to overturn it. And they're also reviewing to see if this was a 2 or a 3. Well, that's Kevin Durant-like right there. It's her toe on the line. I don't know if we can tell from this angle.
It was ruled a 2, so while they take a look at these plays, we'll take a quick timeout.
Riding a bike should be a really fun experience. We make low-maintenance bicycles for everyday riders. We were coming off a great year, and when the pandemic hit, it just stopped. We really had to think creatively.
Teams allowed us to
do what we call virtual visits.
Hey, is that TK?
Hi, how are you?
We're able to see 2 or 3-fold the amount of customers
From all over the world.
Without teams, there's no way this would have been possible. And I really think it's going to set a standard for retail moving forward.
Back to Los Angeles, a one-point ball game and a couple of reviews.
It's a 2-point shot by Laney.
Okay, the officials are looking at this play right now. Initially, it was called off of New York. And the officials are looking to see if indeed that call should hold up. They also were looking at a play to see if a made 2-pointer by Benijah Laney should have been ruled a 3.
So the question is it clear and conclusive to overturn? It looks like it goes off of Sykes, but I don't know if it's clear and conclusive, Pam.
And the officials taking quite a bit of time to try to ascertain just that question.
They need to. This is a huge call.
It's huge. Minute 50 left to go. New York up by 1.
This is why you should not wear fingernail polish in the game. It can distinguish your paw from your opponent's.
And they also are trying to get the clock, make sure that the clock is correct before play resumes.
After review, the call is overturned. It's off of Sykes. We're going to put back on the clock, 152. Shot clock will go to 24.
So after the review, the officials say it was indeed off of Sykes. So New York gets the ball, and the Laney shot was upheld, saying it was a 2 and not a 3 as Sykes fouls Laney. Sykes has been brilliant, particularly in the second half. On the defensive end with her 7 steals, a new career high. Laney at the free throw line. First free throws of the game for Benijah.
Ooh, that was not a good foul by Sykes. As challenging as it has been for New York to find points, you don't want to put them on the free throw line.
And Laney makes a pay hitting both of them. Laney gets to the line on average 5 times a game, which leads her team. Her first trip was perfect, and it gives New York the 3-point lead. Tolliver off the mark, and Benijah Laney skies in to get the rebound. New York now on an 11-4 run after they coughed up a 14-point lead. Shot clock now at 5. Laney will inbounds with 4 left on the shot clock.
Do we get another review, Pam Ward?
So the officials are going to go back and look at the monitor.
The out-of-bounds play is on review. Right now, it is New York's ball.
They want to make sure that New York should indeed get the basketball after it went out of bounds on that last play.
It looks to me like it's off of Sykes still.
Yeah.
Nice little poke. Doesn't hit Laney's leg. I think that call stands.
After review, calling the first stand. It's still New York's ball.
So New York, without calling a timeout, essentially gets a timeout and can draw up exactly what they want to run here with 4 seconds to go.
I want to remind you one last time about this game. A week from today, going to be a great one. 4 Eastern Time, 1 Pacific on ESPN. It is Seattle at Las Vegas, 2 best teams in the league going head-to-head right here on ESPN. Meanwhile, here's a good finish. Got to get the shot off. Ionescu misses everything. Ball goes over to LA. They have it down 3.
Yeah, that was the play, was to get Sabrina coming off a couple of screens. We've seen her hit those shots already this season in important moments, but not that time.
A buzzer beater early on in the season to win a ball game. 1 minute to go. Coffey giving it up to Sykes, guarded by Whitcomb, who puts it in off glass to Brittany Sykes to make it a 1-point game.
Yeah, the confidence with which she is playing on both ends of the floor, fueled by her defensively.
Chancy pass, but Ionescu was able to gather it in with the miss, and the ball goes over to Los Angeles. With just 0.3 of a second difference between the game and shot clock. And the officials are going to make sure about this possession.
The current out of bounds zone review, it is right now LA's ball.
So the third possession review we have had, officials can go to look at it in the last couple minutes.
Gray was making the claim that it had gone off of Sykes' shoulder. You can't tell.
Yeah, the call on the floor was that it was indeed off of Rashonda Gray, and there needs to be enough evidence to overturn it. I don't think there is.
The best evidence would be the spin on the ball. Does it change? You know, does it, when it gets to Sykes, does the spin on the ball change? And I can't tell from any of the replays we've seen. Maybe on this one. Ooh. Nothing to me, though, that's clear and conclusive. That top of the key look almost looked like maybe the spin on the ball changed, but I don't think there's enough to overturn the on the floor call here. Right there. Maybe.
Yeah, Brittany Sykes has really been in the thick of things. She's been involved in all three of these replays for possession. And when she's in the game, LA is outscoring New York by 11. When she's out there, -12. So Sykes really making a difference on the floor in this game. We've had 9 ties, 9 lead changes, 6 of them this quarter alone.
Have clear conclusive evidence to overturn. It will be LA's ball, game clock put to 24.8.
Yep, so as expected, not enough video evidence to overturn the call. So the ball does go to Los Angeles, down 1. They did put a half a second back on the clock.
Look,
New York does have a foul to give, excuse me.
Yeah, look for Erica Wheeler to do something and break down. New York's had a difficult time keeping her in check. And yes, New York with that foul to give, that can be important.
New York picking up full court. Sykes looking to get Wheeler to bring the ball up. LA down 1. Wheeler guarded by Laney. Here's Tolliver. Steps back for the 3, and it is blocked. Rebecca Allen.
So I think there was a foul called on the floor after the shot was taken. We got to take another look at this. This is outstanding defense by Rebecca Allen. I thought Tolliver had an open look at first here. They call the foul on Tolliver as she gets wrapped up with Allen's feet. So there she is, gives her room to land, and then, oof. So they're going to say Christy Tolliver kicked her leg out. Tolliver would have to argue that she wasn't given space to land.
Instead, the call goes New York's way. Allen, new season high, as you see, in scoring.
LA can time out in advance.
We will keep it here for the final 8.2 seconds. Allen with a couple of free throws to get the lead back to 3. Derek Fisher trying to draw up a play. They need a 3 to tie.
I think he's going to be drawing something up for Christy Tolliver for a 3.
Coming around and back out the same side. EU coming straight up. Okay? So EU comes up. There's Cardi here.
It's really important to note that New York has that foul to give, because if LA looks like they're getting into their set, and if especially a player is dribbling, you can look to foul, or has their back to the basket. You never want to foul a player who's facing the basket and has gathered, because then you can get caught fouling them as they shoot for a 3. But if they're dribbling or are not facing the basket, you can use your foul to give to disrupt the rhythm.
Tolliver 3 of 12 from beyond the arc today. Nia Coffey 3 of 7. Sykes inbounds. Here's Wheeler. New York electing not to foul. Rebecca Allen comes up with her second big block. Coffey for the tie just off the back of the rim. So LA with the chance to tie. Allen with a couple of big blocks on 3-point shots. The last 2 trips down the floor, and they're going to come away with the victory.
So you get the isolation for Erica Wheeler, who has been so good at creating her own shots today. But Allen at 6'2", gets the first one, swipes at the Coffey 3. What about the defense from Rebecca Allen on this sequence?
Allen with 3 blocks for the night, 2 of them in the waning seconds to preserve the victory for New York. They take it 76-73. Coming up next, baseball tonight, Sunday night countdown, followed by Cardinals Braves. For Rebecca Lobo and Holly Rowe, I'm Pam Ward. So long from LA.